After its siege of Kabul, the Taliban had literally promised the moon. The new rulers of Afghanistan had repeatedly assured against repeating its horrifying rule in the 90s. The Islamists had even pledged that women's rights will not be scuttled. But as the dust is slowly settling after a month of its Kabul conquest, the Taliban is revealing its regressive and orthodox self. The new regime has now targeted female students. In a shocking move, girls have been banned from entering secondary schools across the country. When the schools reopened on Saturday, only male students were allowed to enter their classrooms. All female students and even female teachers were asked to go back home. However, the move isn't as shocking because repression is a synonym for the Taliban, and it's the women who are always on their radar. Islamic fundamentalists had imposed a blanket ban on girls' education in the 90s. Afghans are urging the Taliban to allow women to work and study.
بغیر د ښځو نه زه فکر کوم یو جامعه پرمختګ نشي کولی او نیمګړی پاتې وي او فعلا تر اوسه پورې کوم اقدام تر اوسه نه ده شوی او دې نه وروسته په تمه یو امارات نه همدا غوښتنه ده چې باید ښځینهو ته هم حق ورکړل شي هغه اسلامي چوکاټ کې د اسلام په شریعت سره برابر موږ هم اسلام ته درناوی کوو ځکه موږ مسلمانان یو.
طالبان چې د ښځو د حقوقو غږ پورته کوي او دوی دا وایي چې مثلا موږ هغه حقوق چې اسلام ښځو ته ورکړي دي هغې ته موږ ژمن یو موږ غواړو چې دغه حقوق د اسلام په چوکاټ کې ښځو ته ورکړو چې هغې کې موږ کولی شو مثلا د تعلیم او تحصیل حقوق دي چې دا زموږ ښځینه طبقه یا وناس طبقه دا حق لري چې تعلیم وکړي تحصیل وکړي همدارنګه دوی کولی شي چې په د اسلام په چوکاټ کې هغه د شرعي حجاب په مراعاتولو سره په حکومت کې هم دوی کار وکړي یعنې په اسلام کې به زه هم داسې کومه څه نه وي راغلي چې هغه د ښځې د تعلیم او د ښځې د کار مخه ونیسي نو هغه څه چې اسلام ښځې ته ورکړي دي هغه د اسلامي حجاب او پردې په چوکاټ کې.
That's not all. The Taliban has shut down the Ministry of Women's Affairs. In its place has come up a brand new Ministry of Vice and Virtue. And it aims to instill moral values in Afghan citizens, mostly women. Despite the gun-toting Taliban fighters, the women employees are standing up for their rights. They demanded that they be allowed to resume their duties. WION's Anas Malik brings reports from the Office of Women Affairs, where the female employees were banned from entering their workplace.
The board that you see behind me, it says this is the Ministry of Guidance and Invitation. Basically, a ministry to ensure Islamic values. This was previously the Ministry for Women's Affairs. The signage has been replaced just today. Yesterday, there was a bigger protest by women demanding their rights right outside the gate of this very ministry. Anas Malik in Kabul, Afghanistan, for WION, World is One.
For those who have read about the Taliban's rule in the 90s, this sounds like deja vu. Back then, the Vice and Virtue Ministry, which was supposed to uphold the practices of Islam, enforced harsh rules, gave out barbaric punishments, cracked down on people who had TV sets at home, sent their girls to school, trimmed their beards, and did not wear hijab properly. The Vice and Virtue Ministry also infamously beat women out in the open for leaving their homes unaccompanied. They even stoned them to death for adultery and believed in eye for an eye justice. The Taliban says that the Vice and Virtue Ministry will be different this time around. Instead of straight away punishing the offenders, they will report them to the officials this time. They also said that harsh punishments are reserved only for repeat offenders. The group's leaders claim to have changed, evolved, but in reality, what you see on the ground is the same play in a different packaging.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.